All right, let's get right into it. We've all been there, right? Staring at that shiny new flagship phone with its crazy price tag, and then looking at the much cheaper option right next to it. And you gotta ask yourself, is the expensive one really worth it? I mean, we're talking about a difference that could be $1,000. Well, today, we're gonna find out.
So let's frame this up. You've got a phone that costs maybe $300 versus a monster that's going to set you back $1,300. On paper, this looks like a total blowout, right? But trust me, you're going to want to stick around because the result, it might just surprise you.
So yeah, it's a competition that seems almost impossible. We're going to put two phones from the same company right up against each other, and let's see what that extra grand really buys you.
All right, let's meet our contenders. In the heavyweight corner, we have the undisputed king, the Galaxy S26 Ultra. This is the top-of-the-line, no-compromises phone. And in the other corner, the scrappy underdog, what we're calling the smart deal, the Galaxy A56. Let's see how this plays out.
Okay, first things first, we gotta give the beast its due. Let's talk about where that huge price difference actually shows up, because there are some pretty clear advantages.
All right, let's kick things off with round one, design. This is all about that first impression, you know? How it looks, and more importantly, how it feels when you're holding it all day long.
And look, there's no real contest here. The S26 Ultra feels so premium. Just absolute luxury with those high-end materials. But here's a little twist. The A56, it's actually lighter. And a lot of people find it easier and more comfortable to handle day to day. That's a real win for practicality.
Okay, moving on to round two. Daily performance. We're talking about the basics here. Opening apps, scrolling through social media, the stuff you do a million times a day.
Now you'd think the S26 Ultra would just blow the A56 out of the water here, right? It's way more powerful on paper. But here's the first real surprise of this whole thing. For everyday stuff, you can barely tell the difference. The A56 feels super snappy and responsive. It's kind of shocking, actually.
Okay, but what about something that really pushes a phone to its limits? Let's talk about gaming. This is where that raw power should make a huge difference. So can the little guy even compete?
Yeah, the S26 Ultra is an absolute monster for gaming. Super strong, super stable performance, but, and this is a big but, the A56 runs pretty much every popular game out there without breaking a sweat. Now for hardcore gamers, the Ultra is the way to go, for sure. But for most people, the A56 is more than good enough. That is a massive win for the underdog.
All right, round four. This is a big one. The camera. Let's be honest. This is one of the main reasons people are willing to shell out big bucks for a phone. This has got to be where that extra $1,000 shows up.
And yeah, it does. The S26 Ultra's camera is just better. It's easily superior. The details are sharper, and that zoom is just mind-blowing. But the A56 takes fantastic photos for what it costs. Seriously, they're excellent. Unless you're a pro who needs that crazy zoom, you're going to be really happy with the pictures the A56 takes.
So let's recap. The S26 Ultra is winning on points, right? Design, power, camera. But the A56 has been putting up a heck of a fight, way better than we expected. But wait, hold on, because this is where the entire story takes a sharp left turn. We've talked about all the flashy stuff, the performance, the looks, the camera, but what about the one thing that holds it all together? The thing that, if it fails, makes all that other stuff totally useless. Yep, what about the battery?
Check this out. The Galaxy A56 is packing a massive 5,000 milliamp hour battery. To put that in perspective, that's a huge capacity, the same size you find in some of the most expensive phones on the market.
And this, right here, is the shocker. This is the moment where this whole competition gets flipped completely upside down. You ready?
Get this. The cheaper A56 actually lasts longer on a single charge. How is that possible? Well, all that incredible power in the S26 Ultra, it's thirsty. It just burns through battery way faster. So the underdog's biggest secret weapon, it's endurance. It just keeps going.
So after a fight like that, with such a crazy plot twist, who's the real winner here? Who actually takes home the championship belt?
Let's go to the scorecard. Okay, the S26 Ultra, it takes the win for design, performance, and camera. No doubt. But the Galaxy A56 comes back and lands a critical blow with battery life. And that brings us to the final and maybe most important round, value for money. And on that one, the winner is crystal clear.
So here's the final verdict. It really comes down to what kind of person you are. If you need the absolute best of the best, no questions asked, no budget, then yeah, the S26 Ultra is the undisputed king. But if you want a smart deal, a phone that does 95% of what the big guy does, saves you a ton of cash, and has a better battery, the A56 doesn't just win, it wins big.
So at the end of the day, we've laid out all the facts. We've shown you the pros and cons. The final call really just comes down to what you value most. The decision is yours. And that leaves us with a big one, the $1,000 question, literally. Is having a slightly better camera and a little more power for intense gaming worth an extra $1,000? Or is the smarter, more practical, money-saving choice the one that actually comes out on top? Think about it.